Now that Gabe Vincent is reportedly starting in the Lakers starting five, and obviously LeBron's out for a month, if it goes well, I'm sure Jada will do some tinkering with the lineups. But as it is, we've moved one of our bench rotation pieces. With LeBron healthy, would be coming off the bench into the starting lineup. So now let's look at the rest of the bench unit and who we can expect to step up. Obviously, you have a struggling Dalton Connect and Draymond. Not nice, bro. Not very nice of you to remind somebody that they got traded and they still with. That's like saying, like, hey, bro, you know your girl cheated on you and you stayed with her. Are you sure you trying to talk to me right now? So you got Dalton shooting under 25% for three in the preseason, but the Lakers will look to him for some support. You also got Marcus Smart, who seems like the Lakers are easing back into things, trying to get back from his offseason rehabilitation into being a contributing role player. Then you got your Jared Vanderbilts and your new boys like Jake LaRavia Knights. And of course, you got your big dog, Jackson Hayes, who is trying to get, I don't know, Saudi Arabian, Lithuanian citizenship.
Slovenia.
Where? So he's trying to get Slovenian. And then, the Jackson Hayes, I'm sure his mama is Slovenian. So yeah, no, I'll go. Or was that a joke because of Luca?
No, he's trying to play with Luca, and he said because the USA doesn't do open tryouts for the Olympic team, he has a better chance to play with Slovenia and be a lob threat for Luca. That's what he wants to go do.
Okay, so it's not a real thing.
He seems zany enough. It could be.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
shout out to Jackson Hayes. We'll be counting on him coming off the bench this season. So, Kwame, as we look to our supporting cast, who are you most looking forward to step up and have impact from game one this season as the Lakers sixth man?
Game one. Wow. To be honest, I don't know who our sixth man is. It's probably, for all intents and purposes, I kind of want to say Marcus Smart, to be honest, but if they're going slow with him, is it Jake LaRavia? I don't know who's coming off our bench first. That's kind of the big question mark. It might even be Vando. Again, we know his defense will be important against the Golden State Warriors. His build matches up with a lot of their type of players, a Draymond, a Jimmy. He can even step out guard a Steph. Moses Moody. I think he's out to start the season. A Kuminga. I think in terms of versatility, Vando probably is the most, because you think about it, you can kind of slot him to guard anybody on Golden State. He can even guard like an Al Horford and, make it work. They don't have a big, out there anymore. I guess unless you're counting Trace Jackson Davis and Quentin Post, I think those are the only two big men. Kevon Looney's down in the New Orleans Pelicans, so he's out that jam. So it's just, I think Vando is probably going to be the most important in game one, and I hope he is for a lot of the season. I hope he kind of comes in. He's that guy, him and Marcus Smart, kind of the junkyard dogs off the bench, go in there, muck the game up, rough these guys up, dive on loose balls, hard fouls. Obviously, in the context of basketball, we don't need no flagrants or anything crazy, but I hope they go out there and they really, muck the game up, just do what they do best, make it crazy, make it chaotic, and just kind of have some fun, get out, run, do all the good stuff. So those two are probably the two guys I'm looking to come off the bench and do the most, obviously with Gabe Vincent, but he's a starter to begin the season. So Marcus and Vando are the two guys that I got my eyes on coming off the bench to kind of be that 1-2-man punch on aggression, defense, and all the little things, the intangibles that, don't show up on the box score.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I think the Lakers' depth, it becomes a little bit more questionable with Gabe needing to be put in the starting lineup. None of these names strike fear into your heart, right? Like there's no J.R. Smith coming off the bench type of just lights out scorer. He only has one job, and that's to put it up. It's a lot of glue pieces, right? Guys who fit well within the system of them playing their exact role. Vando has a pretty specific skill set, even though we saw him doing a little bit more ball handling and shooting threes this preseason. For all intents and purposes, he is a scrappy slasher, defensive-minded individual. Jackson Hayes is a lob threat. He's going to need somebody hitting him with lobs. And as I look at the Lakers right now, sure, there's plenty of capable players, but the only two that I'm actually expected to throw something freaky in the air for Jackson to finish is Austin and Luka. Right. So I think there's a little bit of concern for me to see what the cohesiveness of a bench mixed in with starters lineup looks like. But then that's why you take these first few games of the season to figure it out. You take the preseason to use that and get those answers. Unfortunately, the Lakers weren't able to get all of their answers together with Luka only playing 2 games and LeBron playing saddle. So I'm a little bit more concerned than just let's see what we got. That first instance, right, end of first, start of the second, where we start to see an Austin-led unit out there with Luka on the bench. That's where I'm going to start to be paying more attention to what the difference in scoring is. Lakers +5. What is it after that first stint where most of the starters are now mixed in with role players? So I don't want to say I'm worried, Kwam, but we'll see. The bench, the Lakers' depth is going to be put to the test early, and that is just the fact of the matter without having Big Bron out there.
Wow. That's interesting. I mean, to be honest, I think this is ultimately, I think this is kind of by design. I think they wanted the bulk load of the scoring to come from Luca, Austin, and LeBron. I think that's what they expected. And then Rui's probably the next up featured player to kind of get his shots. But I think that's by design. I mean, you think of Luca teams in the past, even the team that went to the championship, bulk of the scoring came from who? Kyrie Irving, Luca. That's just what it was, you know? Other guys will get their looks, they'll get their opportunities. Obviously, lob threats, bench players will come in. Like, people will get their opportunity, but I assume they're hoping to get 80, I'll probably say 70 to 80 points out of Luca, LeBron, and Austin is going to be my big assumption. I'm going to assume they could get 70 points a night out of those guys, and everybody else contributes to get us to like the 110, 115-ish number.
So
And,
what do you do now then? What do you do now for these first month of the season? What mix do you expect to pick up LeBron's 24?
Give 23. I think that's, really, I think you need Rui to probably give you 16 to 18, which I think he's very capable of doing. Aiden's probably got to give us 10 a night minimum. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully a little bit more sprinkled in. I think Gabe's going to get to be featured with the ball more now. I think he's going to fill that LeBron slot as a ball handler, maybe a secondary. Honestly, after watching preseason, I would feel confident in him running the show in spurts. Absolutely. We have Austin, who we've seen do it, Luca, that we know can do it. So I feel like we have guards that are good playmakers. Again, when you think of like who's that just bucket getter, we know who the guys are. And I think every scouting report, every team's going to show exactly the guys where majority of the buckets are going to come from. But that's where you got to win on the margins. That's where you win on the loose balls, the offensive rebounds, the second chance points, the transition buckets, that type of stuff. I think that's where other guys are going to really start to get involved. So I'm just going to assume, again, I have no proof behind that philosophy. I'm going to assume that's just what JJ's thinking of, just given the kind of way he talks about the game. And then again, getting these guys in championship shape. I assume he's just going to assume, look, we're going to go out there. We're going to be one of the most fit teams in the league, and we're going to get up and down. We're going to do our thing. These guys are going to hold the bulk of the scoring, but other guys will be able to chip in other ways too. But I totally do understand your point of like where the LeBron's buckets come from, but that's going to be by committee. And, are guys ready? That we will soon find out. So I don't feel as bad about it because, like I said, I think Gabe got a lot of experience with the ball being in his hands in preseason. Obviously, we've seen it in stops prior to getting to the Los Angeles Lakers. So if he can kind of bring that back, you don't feel good having Miami Gabe being your tertiary ball handler? I do. I feel great about that. So
Yeah.
I think I feel okay with it. And then, like I said, when LeBron comes back, Gabe probably goes more into a spot up shooter role. So I think it's okay. This will be, again, Gabe's opportunity to make a name for himself, get people to, remember who he is and, see how it goes from there. But I don't feel that bad about it. I think we'll be all right, man. I really do think we're going to be okay.